ask them questions. If they can't answer you with really good answers or knowledgeable answers, don't go with them. And like if they say come in every 2 weeks, why? Why am I going to come every 2 weeks? Why am I going to come every 10 weeks? I always give my customers the why. Why am I doing this? And so I think that would be the biggest advice is just ask, ask, ask. Come up with every question you can think of.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Stacey Thomas, a certified laser technician through the National Laser Institute and the founder of Lotus Laser Aesthetics, which she built from the ground up without a mentor. Relying on research, trial and error, and her determination, she turned her vision into a thriving business. She believes the best investment is the one you make in yourself, and she continues to grow by taking marketing courses and strengthening her social media presence. Her journey is a testament to resilience, self-education, and entrepreneurial drive. So Stacey, welcome and glad to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, so let's dive into it. How did you first get interested in aesthetics?
I started as a client. I was a teacher for 20 years and I just got burnt out of the field. And I started as a client of laser hair removal and I just fell in love with it. And I thought, I want everybody to experience this. And I would love to make that happen. And so the time was right, I guess, to just get out of the field of teaching. And so I just kind of jumped in. I had kind of a rough last year in school, and I was like, I'm ready for something different. And I had been inspired by this lady that I went to for laser hair removal, and the rest is history, I guess.
Wow, okay. So now you have a story of you joining a tattoo removal contest. So could you tell a little bit about that story?
Oh, it wasn't that I joined it. It was part of my marketing
Oh, okay.
strategy, I
Mhm.
guess. So I created a tattoo removal contest on the radio. And so I've met some fun people. We got some great submissions, some funny,
Mhm.
some sad.
Mhm.
Quite a few X's that I do take off,
Mhm.
X's
I,
names
I
that
I
I
can
take
see that
off.
happening a lot.
Yeah, probably my most common is wedding ring tattoos. Yeah. So
Interesting. Okay.
yeah.
So so now with your practice, you have laser hair removal and tattoo removal is the two, I guess, main treatments that your clients come to you for, right?
Yeah, it's kind of my niche. That's kind of where my
Okay.
passion is. Lasers do other things. It's not as much of a passion of mine, so I
Mhm.
don't really market them a lot. But yeah, I do other things. I do pigment correction, which is like freckles or sunspots. I do vascular lesions, which would be spider veins. Really, really great lasers for that.
Mhm.
I do hydrofacials, which is just really just cleaning that skin out and giving it some good hydration. They feel wonderful when you're done. And then I just kind of do some random stuff other than that too. But yeah,
Mhm.
those are my two main ones.
Okay. So on the tattoo removal side, I want to dive a little bit deeper into this one because it's not a topic that I'm not so familiar with. And I mean, it's like I said, self-explanatory. But for people that have tattoos, I mean, I think most of the impression is that it's permanent, like you're not getting rid of it. So can you talk a little bit about what goes into the process of tattoo removal? Like, is it that it could be done for all tattoos? Is it only certain tattoos? Or like, can you just explain a little bit more about how it works?
So black is one of the easiest colors to get out because
Hmm.
lasers attract color. And so if you have the more color you have in your tattoo as far as pigment, the better results you're going to get because that laser is going to track that color and break it apart. We don't have as good a luck with light blues, light greens. They just don't have as much pigment for the laser to attract.
Interesting. Okay. And so now when it comes to number of treatments, like what's common as far as number of treatments that they would need before they can completely get rid of it?
Typically, I say best case scenario is about six. That's what I prepare my clients for. Most people are looking at about double that. And for the reason is the better quality tattoos are actually harder to break because the ink is better quality. So the best quality ink is harder to break. So I get some people that stick and poke when they were in 12 or whatever as a young teenager. And when they come in, they can get them out pretty easily. Again, still, if they're looking at around 6 to get it completely off, but a good quality tattoo with lots of color is going to be up higher in those 15, 12, even higher possibly
Mhm.
sessions. I typically for my clients, I recommend an unlimited package for those, and not because I really try to upsell people, but it's really, I really can't guarantee how many sessions it's going to take, and I don't want them to just keep racking up a bill. Like, I'd
Mhm.
rather just, here's a set amount of money, let's do what you need to do to get rid of it, or at least get rid of it to the point where you're happy and we can't see any more results. Most people can get rid of probably 95% of it. That 5% is like if the tattoo is really deep, then they kind of just see a shadow that's left over. And because a laser can't get to that depth, then they might see a shadow left over. But
Mm,
when we're saying a shadow, it's a very light, and most people wouldn't know it was there unless they knew it was there.
I see. Okay, so it's almost like
That makes
a
sense.
like I guess like a shade, like different shade on your skin that kind of looks
It's just a
like a
really,
tan.
just like a really light outline of it. Yeah,
Okay.
that's just still, you can kind of see through a little. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned before, as far as how the laser works, like it's breaking up the ink. So is that kind of like what it's doing? Like, is that just kind of like a saying, like breaking it up, or is it really going in there, I guess, dissolving it, or like, I guess, how is it getting rid of the ink?
It literally breaks it up. So
Mm,
the laser, it breaks it up under the skin. So most people really shouldn't have any issues with the top layer of their skin. Some people blister. If you have a good technician and you have a good laser, you really shouldn't blister or have much of a side effects from it. It is quite painful because it's breaking it under the skin, which I try to mitigate with ice is one thing
mm,
because the cooler you are, the cooler you can get it, it kind of numbs it a little bit. Another thing I do is numbing cream. A lot of people think like just smear it on there and it's good to go. Not the case at all. It has to be on for at least 2 hours because you need it to sink down into deeper layers. If you and you need to wrap it so in like a non-breathable fabric. So like not necessarily fabric, but like saran wrap. And you need to kind of do it tight so that it can't breathe because if it breathes, then it kind of dissipates into the air.
mm,
Whereas if you cover it, it will then go deeper.
mm,
So numbing cream doesn't work for everybody, and it doesn't work in every spot on your body.
mm,
So that's another piece of it too.
mhm.
So yeah, I mean, there's definitely some things, but going into it, you're gonna have some pain, and
Yeah,
that's just the realistic. And I'm very honest with my customers about that.
yeah. Well, I guess if they got the tattoo in the first place, it's probably going to be something similar, right?
Yeah, I mean, some people actually say it's worse. Some people say it's about the same. I've had some people say, "Oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be," but
Mm.
I've had many people say, "Yeah, that's about as bad as I thought it was
Okay.
gonna be."
Well, yeah, the
Um,
pain putting it on, the pain getting it off. But I guess it's
Yeah, but the really cool thing about it is it's very fast. When you get a tattoo, it takes a long time.
yeah.
I can do a credit card size tattoo in about 15 seconds.
Oh wow, that's really quick.
It really is. So I'm always like, I know it's painful, but you just grin and bear it and
Oh
we'll get
man.
through it. Did I give them breaks? I do whatever I can to make it more
Yeah.
comfortable. So
Okay. Well, man, that's really quick. I didn't think it'd be that. Because I guess if people have never gone through it before, they're like, oh well, if it took me this long to get a tattoo, it's probably gonna take me this long to get rid of
yeah, people are very shocked that it's as fast as it is. And really the reality is it comes off layer by layer. So you have to do the session.
it. Hmm.
Um, you can only break so much at a time. You can only break that first layer, and then you have to let your body get rid of it so it goes through your immune system, and then you come in and do the next one. So the reason it's so fast though is I can only break so much at one time. It's
Hmm.
almost the process is almost like me coloring over it.
I see.
If you can imagine just coloring over it with a highlighter, that's about as fast as it goes.
Okay. Now, as far as the size of the tattoo, I'm sure that that plays a role into, but how much of a role does that play? Like you mentioned that you can do a credit card size tattoo in about 15 seconds. So if someone has a bigger tattoo, are you trying to completely remove that entire first layer in one go, or are you kind of doing like bits?
I've seen these online, and it's not really a safe practice to do anything much bigger than about a 6 by 6 inch.
Hmm.
because lasers can activate histamines. A lot of people get
Hmm.
swelling.
Hmm.
I've seen people that have their whole arm swollen because they went in and went to somebody who tackled it and they, came out with their hand just ginormous.
Hmm.
So yeah, you really just need to, you have to realize it's a process and it's going to take a
Hmm.
long process to get out. It's not, I've had people call me and say, my daughter's getting married this summer. I want this off. And it's like, should have started it 2 years ago, but
Hmm.
we can get it lightened for the wedding. I
Yeah.
always say we can get it lightened and then you can put some makeup on it and you'll have some good luck there. But realistically, it's a process.
Okay. Now you mentioned that it can get really swollen if they start trying to do this all in one go. Is it just because of the amount that they're doing in one time, or is it even if they do a small amount, they're still going to have some swelling?
It's really about the size. It's
Mm.
there's a lot of energy that goes into breaking that tattoo ink and there's a lot of heat. And combined with those, that again can activate histamines and make you swell up. It's just a
Hmm.
lot of energy.
Okay. Now, is there a difference as far as how long someone's had the tattoo? Like you kind of mentioned earlier, like someone that kind of got it when they were younger, and then if they get it, they can get it off pretty quick. I didn't know if that had to do with that just them being younger, or they just haven't had the tattoo for that long. So does the length of time they've had it really make a difference, or is it just kind of your age and how fast you recover, or both?
The age probably and how you recover is probably a little piece of it, but the biggest thing is, the longer you've had it, the lower the quality of ink as it ages, if that makes sense. So
Hmm.
with the
Okay.
aging of the ink, it's
Mhm.
breaking down already.
I see.
And so you actually have way better luck if it's a very old tattoo.
Oh,
Newer
interesting.
tattoos, I have had people literally call me the next day and say, I hate this thing. I want it off. And I'll
Uh,
say, I can absolutely help you, but you're going to be looking at twice as many sessions because it's brand new and the ink is very good quality.
I see. Okay, so it really comes down to it breaks up the ink, and then the ink is just going to deteriorate over time. Like as if they have that
Correct.
mentality. Because I would have thought that, oh, if I've had this tattoo for a long time, it's really, really deep in the skin, and you got to really dig to get it out.
Right.
But
Yeah. There's a lot of things that seem backwards for sure that for tattoo removal, it's pretty cool.
okay,
Learning about the whys and it's like, oh yeah, now it makes sense. Yeah, I
yeah,
enjoy that
okay.
part of I really enjoy that part of tattoo or about the shop. Like I love
Mhm.
teaching people, and that's a big belief of mine for my customers to just tell them how this works, why I'm
Mhm.
doing it this way. I've had people that had bad experiences in other places, and I'll talk them through about what's happening. They're like, "Oh, I had no idea that's what they were doing or what I was looking for, or that sort of thing." So, just making that connection with my clients has just been awesome.
Yeah, I'm sure that you get a lot of startled reactions when you start explaining how this works.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I never ever would have thought I would be into lasers. I always call myself a laser geek now because I find it fascinating the way it works, especially with the skin.
Yeah. And time in between sessions, how much of a time or I guess call it a break do they need in between when they have sessions to try and like take it off layer by layer?
Sure. Great question. So a lot of people want to just come, oh, we'll come back in a week and we'll just keep working on it. It's not the way it works at all. Again, patience and taking the time to let yourself get rid of the ink. So a lot of people are surprised by this, but if it's on an extremity, you go up to like 10 weeks between the
Oh,
time
wow. Okay.
frame. Yeah, because the ink is still there. And so I can absolutely go in and do it once a week, once every 2 weeks. You're not going to get your money's worth. You're not going to get any better result because what's happening is that ink stays in that layer. And so if I take a laser into and go through it, I can't get through that ink. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be able to get to the ink under it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's not about healing. A lot of people think it's about healing. It's not. It's about that ink staying there and you wasting your money coming in too soon. And
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that happen too, where I have people coming in. I went to this person every 2 weeks. They told me to come in. I'm like, you spent a lot of extra money you didn't need to spend, which is sad.
Okay. So if it's not about healing, is it really just about, I guess, is your body kind of filtering that layer out once you break it up?
Correct. Yep. So it
Okay.
breaks up into particles,
Hmm.
and then your body has to get rid of it through its immune system, through its lymphatic system. So it takes that long. And the reason for extremities, because your circulation isn't as good in your extremities. If it's core
Hmm.
body, you can go about 6 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure that I mean, I'm learning a lot more about this just through these questions, and a lot of it is things that I would have thought was the opposite. As far as, oh, like, hey, this tattoo is really old, it's really deep in there, it's gonna be hard to get out, or things along those lines, or even like the length. It's like, okay, well, if a tattoo took me an hour to get, it's probably gonna take somewhere around that time to get rid of it. Um,
There's a really cool thing I have to tell you that also surprises me. The darker your skin, the lighter setting I have to use. Most people would think it'd be the opposite because
mhm,
me being, Scandinavian, I'm very white, so
mhm,
I can actually handle a higher setting than somebody with darker skin, which is
mhm.
completely backwards from what we're used to. Like we're
Yeah.
scared of the sun, we like our sunscreen all the time. But the reason for that is, as I said earlier, lasers attract color. So
Hmm.
if you have a dark skin, your skin is also going to attract that color. Where if white skin,
Hmm.
is if I had did a sheet of paper with some words on it, the laser would only attract those words. I could do
Hmm.
up here and it wouldn't do anything to that paper. It
Hmm.
only attracts that target.
Hmm.
And so if I have darker skin, the darker skin and the ink is going to attract that heat.
Okay. So you said that it'd be at a lower setting for darker skin. So does
Correct.
that mean that kind of everything being equal, you can get results faster or easier with darker skin?
No, it'd be the opposite because I
Okay.
have
So
to
it'd be
do a
harder.
lighter setting for them.
I see.
Mhm.
So lighter setting, so it's not able to break it up as much. And so you'd have to, it'd take longer to try and break it up.
Typically, yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Not impossible by any
Yeah.
means, but yeah, there's definitely some cautionary things I have to worry about for different skin types.
Okay. Interesting. Now,
Darker skin, there's different wavelengths that attract different colors better. And red is a really hard color to get out, or even a light blue, light green on dark skin because I have to have a setting that could possibly burn them. So
interesting.
color with darker skin is really tough and
Mhm.
very, it's a little dangerous because you might end up with some nasty burns.
Wow. So, what are some other
Yeah.
misconceptions or myths that you've learned or that your clients have asked you about? Like, what's the most common ones when it comes to tattoo removal?
Um, I guess I honestly don't have a lot of misconceptions, because it's a kind of a newer process out there. Um, so a lot of people are just interested in learning about it. So I have a lot of people that they might go online and learn some stuff, but they really don't quite have a full grasp of it until they come in, I
Okay.
guess.
And now let's say that someone's trying to look for a provider that can help them remove the tattoo. And you kind of mentioned before that you've had some clients that have gotten bad advice from other places. So someone is looking for a good provider that they can trust, that really understands this as deeply as you do. What would you say would be the most important advice you would give to them as far as what they should look for in a good provider?
Ask them questions. If they can't answer you with really good answers or knowledgeable answers, don't go them. And like if they say come in every 2 weeks, why? Why am I going to come every 2 weeks? Why am I going to come every 10 weeks? I always give my customers the why. Why am I doing this? And so I think that would be the biggest advice is just ask, ask, ask. Come up with every question you can think of.
Mhm. And are there any red flags that you would recommend? Like, hey, if they say it this way or say it this way, that's kind of a red flag.
Um, that they would this false promises, I guess, telling them they can get it off faster.
Mm,
I've had a couple people that try to undercut me a little bit, and they'll tell somebody, "Well, I can get rid of it faster," and I'll be like, "Well, how is that possible?" Like then if you can, great, but
yeah.
tell me why.
Mm,
It doesn't really make sense because it's a process, and if you jump the gun, go too fast, you're going to cause some damage. I've seen some
mm.
nasty blisters and some stuff of people that just didn't do it right.
Okay, got it.
Oh, the other piece that's really important is if they're certified or not. So
Mm,
I went to National Laser Institute. I actually have my certified laser technician license. It's kind of the Wild West yet in as far as laws haven't caught up to lasers. And so people are buying lasers and the laser company's coming out for literally 1 day or 2 days and showing them how to use it, and that's it. That then there's it. There's your that's your all they get for
Yeah.
training. And
Point and
so
click.
yeah, I
Just
mean
point and
there's
click, you'll be okay.
yeah, it's kind of scary. I do have to have a medical director on staff,
Mhm.
but my medical director is more about if I caused a burn and I need that, or if they're having a reaction, that sort of medical director. Most medical directors out there really don't know a lot about lasers. Like I know more than any medical director I've ever had.
Mhm.
And so I will actually teach them about it. So make sure they're certified or at the very least, ask them how much training they've had.
Okay, great advice. That's something that I think is important because again, when it comes to this type of laser, and kind of like as you mentioned, like they maybe get like a day of training and then that's it. That's it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, like 1 day of training and they'll jump right in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, because I think people think when it comes to anything medical procedure related, it's like, oh, you must have gone to medical school for this. Like you must know what you're doing.
Right, exactly. And that's not the case yet. I mean, there are some states that actually are caught up. I think Arizona, actually, you have to have quite a bit of hands-on experience and training to do it. I believe Florida,
Mhm.
a couple other ones, California. Actually, I think in California you have to have an RN. I'm not 100% sure about that, but
Okay. So, but looking for that certification, looking for that experience.
yeah, and that kind of goes with hand in hand with just asking those questions. If they can't answer, tell you how it works, why it works,
Mhm.
and all of the background, I would be cautious.
Okay, good to know. And I'm curious, what role do you think that creativity plays in how you approach your client care? Because I mean, I think when it comes to medicine, people don't think about creativity as the first word that pops into their mind. But what role do you think that creativity plays in what you do?
Um, I'm not really sure how to answer that. Like, what do you mean by
Yeah. I
creativity?
guess like because when people think about medicine, like you have this process, you have this procedure that you follow this step by step. But then there's
Right.
also the part of that where everyone is an individual, and so you
Oh, sure, sure.
need to change things depending on that. So how
Oh,
that creativity in like, hey, we need to follow the step by step versus hey, this is an individual, and I need to tweak that process depending on this individual.
I guess, yeah, looking at all the factors, you're right. You have to really look at the whole picture to decide what's going to be best for this client. Absolutely. Skin color, again, we talked about that. That's a huge one, probably the biggest piece, and then adjusting settings accordingly. So yeah, you can't go in and just pick a setting and go at it.
Yeah, just pick the setting, and when you smell it burning, then you know it's working.
Right, there you go, for
Okay.
sure.
Now, Stacey, I'm sure that you've had some challenging or memorable cases that you've worked on. Is there maybe one story that you can share as far as just again a memorable, a tough, a challenging case that came in, and how you were able to get them a successful outcome in the end?
I am very, very, very upfront with my clients about what to expect and what I can and can't help them with. I really believe in not giving false hope.
Mhm.
So that's a big part of mine. I have some clients that have like that bright blue, and I'll be very honest with them, like we're
Mhm.
looking at a lot of sessions here.
Mhm.
Are you planning on doing a cover up? That's another piece of it too. If they're just looking to lighten it, that's great. So that I can give them more idea of how to go over it. I always recommend to go see a tattoo artist before they are within the process of seeing me to see how light they want it. And how they're going to incorporate the lines into their new tattoo. Probably about 40% of my clients are looking just to lighten it enough to get a better cover up.
Mm. That actually brings up another point that I was thinking about. So let's say they have that light blue that's really hard to remove, or that red that's really hard to remove. If they go to a tattoo artist and be like, "Hey, go over this with something darker, just like completely black it out," would that make it easier to remove it, or is it still the same thing? Like you're just
It would
removing the
still
top
have
layer and
that
you
red
still
in
have
the
that.
face.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
So that definitely wouldn't work either.
okay. So if you have that light blue, then yeah, it's gonna be tough
Yeah,
no matter what.
it's about if you have that light blue, either incorporating it into the new one or having that color being darkened, going over it with a darker color in the eventual tattoo that you're looking for.
Okay. So I
It's
guess,
not impossible by any
yeah.
means. And if
Mhm.
there is a laser that has it, I do have a pico laser. That's a kind of a buzzword in the field, a pico
Mhm.
laser. Um, I can do it, but again, it's a lot more than most people anticipate when they,
Mm.
you know,
Okay.
they most people would assume the other way, if it's lighter, it's going to come out faster and
Yeah.
it's going to be harder, and it's
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moral of the story, don't get light blue tattoos.
Right. Yes. Be careful. I mean, I bet there'll be technology down the road,
Mhm.
that will eventually be better for it. But
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay. Now, where do you think the future of aesthetics of lasers is going?
It's a booming business. It's really interesting. COVID actually lit a fire in this under this field.
Mhm.
I think it was people looking at themselves in Zoom and just being at home more. And so every other business out there was took a nosedive except aesthetics, and that just blew up then. And I think it's just continuing. The problem with it is a lot of people are like, that's where the money's at. And so we're starting to get more of a saturated business too.
Mhm.
So we really, really need to be smart consumers right now and really learn about what we're going to do before we jump into it.
Okay. And would you say that a big part of it is just being able to differentiate who's a good provider, who's not, so they can give you
Yeah,
that
just doing your
solution?
research. I built my website, and one of the things on my website is I explain everything. I have diagrams and all of that stuff. So there's some big franchises out there that they won't even give you any pricing unless you go in for their consult. And I'm
Mhm.
completely the opposite. I'm like, this is what I have, this is what I will offer, and this is how it works.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
yeah, I don't trust the secrecy of it and
Yeah.
all that stuff. So.
Okay. And you mentioned a little bit when it comes to the legal aspect of it, like the laws really are slow to catch up. There's some states that have that licensing and that you need to have in place. But what do you think as far as from a legality, a regulation standpoint? Do you think that's going to be able to keep up with the pace that it is going at? Or you think that the technology is always going to outpace the regulation?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. I never thought about it. I guess I have thought about it, but I always hope I'm grandfathered in so that
Yeah.
I, like can have whatever I need.
Yeah.
Um, I really do because it's such a booming business. I think it's gonna start getting into place. I'm definitely we lasers have made a huge, huge jump into the technology. I mean, they're constantly getting better and they're constantly evolving, but they're not evolving so much that I don't think the laws could catch up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think just requiring people to have a better certification in all the states probably is going to be a huge step, and that would really mitigate some of the issues that we're starting to have with the saturated business and people just out there to make money. Because
Mm,
there's money in this business.
yeah.
But you have to hone in. It's about building a business
Mm,
you know, I'm always working on marketing and learning new
mm,
things and what doesn't work and what works. And
yeah.
summers are slow because one of the things that for laser treatments is you can't have the area exposed to the sun because the
Mhm,
sun, it will add heat to that area.
mhm,
I've learned that actually sun energy stays in your skin for like 7 days, which is interesting. And so that's one of the reasons you need to wait that long to get laser treatment. So my summer is very quiet. And so I'm still learning the ups and downs of business for
yeah.
sure. I'm going on my third year and
Oh, wow.
always stuff to learn for
Yeah.
sure.
Now, when it comes to your practice, Lotus Laser Aesthetics, what's your vision for your practice?
I'm running everything myself. So I would love to eventually get busy enough where I can hire some more people on so I can kind of step back a little bit,
Hmm.
and just kind of manage it. Not every like, I'm literally I work every day of the week, like Monday through Sunday.
Oh, wow.
I work two jobs to make
Mm,
ends meet, with the business, and then that other job just kind of pays the at-home bills so my business
yeah.
can stay, sustain itself. So I guess my dream would be to hire people on, and I would love to branch out a little bit, have a couple shops eventually, but we'll see what that happens. If that happens. I'm in central Minnesota, which there's not a lot of people out there that do tattoo removal. I'm one of the few in the area, if not the only one. So it would be really cool to branch out further,
Yeah.
center up
Okay.
north.
It
So
sounds like the future looks bright for you then.
I'm hoping. I
Yeah.
love it. I love my clients. I don't know many people that can be in the business or be in any business and be like, I love the people that come to me. I do. Like, they're just so excited to make that transformation. That's kind of where my Lotus came from too. There's a reason I called my shop Lotus Laser Aesthetics. The lotus, I'm not sure if you know the symbology of a lotus, but it's about growing from the mud. So if you can kind of use that analogy in life. I lost two husbands to cancer.
Wow.
And so I've really been through some tough stuff, and
Mhm.
that means so much to me to be able to help to transform myself. I'm doing something I really love to do, and I can bring that to people in a different way. I'm helping them transform their body, but just parts of their body they just don't love. And so
Yeah.
I can help that. And so I think that's why I have such good clients, because I'm very honest about what to expect. I'm very honest about it taking time to get where you want to go. And everything takes work, and good things come from good hard work. And so that's kind of the hard work that I feel like I'm bringing to the clients. So
Yeah. No words have ever been truer said. Now, Stacy, I do have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at lotuslaseresthetics.com.
Yep.
Now, last question is, what does beauty mean to you, Stacy?
Being happy in yourself, I guess. You can be and shining from the inside out, I guess. I mean, I think some of the most beautiful people aren't as beautiful if their inside doesn't show, if they're very superficial. I just think it kind of takes that away. The beauty is not quite as strong in them. So, like, your inside makes you beautiful.
There you go. Well, Stacy sharing her expertise. Now, Stacy, where can people contact you and your business?
Again, I'm on the website Lotus Laser Aesthetics. I do have a Gmail, which is Lotus Laser Aesthetics at Gmail. I have a phone number. People can book now too on my website. So hopefully I'm pretty easy to contact. I love answering questions, so anybody can, even if you're not coming to my shop, I would love to just answer some questions if you have some, or help point people in the right direction, because it's a field I never thought I would fall in love with. So
Mm,
now that I have, I want to share my passion.
awesome. Well, Stacy, thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, and thank you for helping educate people all over.
All right.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.